Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Amateur Repair Time. There is a great mystery afoot here. I went to an auction, it was an online auction, and then I went and picked it up, but I bought some stuff from an auction probably a couple months ago. And it didn't work out quite how I wanted. I'll show you why here in a second. But I've got some parts here for an old gingerbread clock, parlor clock, kitchen clock, whatever you want to call it. This was for sale at the auction, and I think I bought it for $5. And they had it listed as New Haven Clock Company Cunard line. Cunard line. Is that how you say that? And I got it, it was like $5 or something. Ended up getting a really good deal. That's a very clean looking, nice looking, oak looking kitchen clock case. And if you've watched my channel, I've got all kinds of clock parts. I've got a whole bunch of these suckers. I love them. I've got a bunch more too in storage and stuff. But so I would have bought it anyway for $5. But what was interesting was later on in the auction, they had this. So this is listed as clock parts. Oh, well, there we go. So that's the movement that goes back in there. So now I got to buy it, right? Because I got to fix it. I got to save it. I've got to save it. I can save it for Amateur Repair Time. So I bought it, and then whenever I got I didn't pay much attention to what I was bidding on here. But whenever I got it, I realized this is not the movement for that. This is a different movement. So this is a Gilbert movement, which is cool. I like Gilbert clocks too. I like about all of them, to be honest with you. And I could tell from I didn't pay too much attention, but I could tell that the verge was missing, and that's kind of a pain. I wonder if it's in here. Yeah, there it is. Never mind. Well, that helps. Look, and there's the hands. I mean, it kind of looks like this would have been what went with this, right? But it's not. This is a Gilbert. Somebody must have swapped it at some point. Or this just happens to be out of a completely different clock case. Maybe the guy was very sadistic and he liked taking clocks apart and never putting them back together. I don't know anybody that would do something like that. But anyway, we're in warning. So anyway, on this case here, and again, it's very nice, I think. On the back, it does say 8-day Cunard line, striking Cunard line, New Haven Clock Company. So it is a New Haven. So I hate to put a Gilbert movement in a New Haven case. I mean, that wouldn't be, I don't want to do that, right? So I thought what we'd try to do is try to piece it back together as a New Haven. Maybe I could order the parts that I need, or I may have a New Haven movement laying around that I could put in it. I don't know. I've got a bunch of movements. Or maybe I can find a Gilbert case that needs, I don't know. We need to fix this problem. That's all. So how much is it going to cost me to fix a problem that doesn't really need to be fixed? We're going to find out in this video, so stay tuned. Let me see if I've got any movements. Or let's do this. Let me look up the Cunard line, whatever, New Haven, and see if we can get an idea of what it's supposed to look like. And I wonder if this is the correct glass for it. So it's got a nice round top, and then down here at the bottom it has a vase of flowers in a round circle. It's a beautiful little case. So let's see if I can find a picture of this thing in an old catalog or something, and maybe we can get an idea of what it originally looked like. All right, so my favorite website to go to for stuff like this is clockhistory.com. The gentleman there has scanned in a bunch of the old catalogs. So this is a New Haven catalog from 1911. And this is a similar clock. It's not exactly the same. Ours is the Cunard line, the Cunard line, C-U-N-A-R-D. This is the Camden line, which appears to be the same clock with a different door. like our door is square. This has the, I guess you would call that like the octagon top. And the base is different. So this Camden line is a more fancy version. But if you notice, it has the same glass with the basket and stuff. So it's pretty much the same clock. These two are in the same line, but they've got a slightly different design. So this is in 1911. That is nothing we need. This is one that was on the National Association of Watch and Clock Collectors forum, where a woman was saying that hers was the Canard line, just like ours. It's the exact same clock. And so this is how hers looks. You can, the picture sideways here, but it says made by the New Haven Clock Company, New Haven, Connecticut. Hers had an alarm on it, but this will show us kind of what the hands look like. This is a picture of her pendulum, but the people on the forum were saying that's the wrong pendulum, so we're not going to put that on there. This is her movement, which is one of the earlier ones. See how it's got the rounded bars here, here, and here? It's almost like a skeleton look. And here's her alarm piece. You can see this straight bar here that holds the verge. And then you can see how there's two little rivets up here that hold this piece in, the bridge for the escapement wheel. She's just showing pictures of her setup, which is cool. You can see the teeth on the wheels. All right, so here's another gentleman that had the same exact clock, but he's got a little bit newer movement in his, although it's also a New Haven movement, the correct name brand at least. You can see the New Haven stamp right here. And this is the same movement, just a little more modern. So it's got this same bar, but up here you can see that the bridge here is slightly different. On the other one, it was way up here. So it's just a little bit newer version. Here is Merritt's Clock and Repair Supplies. They have a bunch of stuff on there that they've sold over the years. I guess this one's actually available for sale right now, maybe. This is the other design though, but it is the Canard line, but it's just one of the other two designs. But you can see on theirs as well, it has the square door and it has the round glass, so we've got the correct glass. Here's another one that they've got. This is the Camden line, it says, which is the sister line that we've been looking at, where it's the same design. I think they may have not had the label for this one, and they looked it up and just guessed it was the Camden line because it looks like it, but I think this is actually probably another Canard because it's got the square door, and it's got the square base. The Camden line had a fancier base. So I think they're just looking at the like I'm doing in the catalog, and the closest thing you can find is the Camden. But same glass. Okay, here's one that was on Worth Point, which is worthless pretty much, but you get to see pictures at least. Same glass. This is our exact same model. It's just a darker finish on it. Different dial. I guess that says New Haven. I've never actually seen that dial on one, but whatever. Here is this is a pick click. This is a weird site where they're always showing different pictures and stuff. I guess that was a Canard. It's the wrong pendulum though, I believe. Okay, here's one on eBay. It's the Camden model. So it's got the octagonal top of the door. I know there's only 3 sides up there, people, but if it went all the way around, it would be an octagon. That's what I'm just saying. That part looks like part of an octagon. But we get to see the pendulum. round pendulum with the flowering thing on the top of it. And that might be a replacement dial because it doesn't have a name on it. And this particular one doesn't have an alarm. Same glass though, very cool. Here's one that is actually labeled the Canard model on the back. Pendulum's missing, but it seems to be the same type of deal, and it has the New Haven, the typical New Haven pendulum, so I think that's correct. Here's another one. This is going to be the Canard line. Yeah, they've got it labeled as Canard. Square door, square bottom, and the same pendulum. Also has an alarm on it. And here's a Canard line that they've replaced the pendulum with the wrong one, and the glass is missing. So did we ever see, did we see a Camden one with the fancy bottom? Maybe they just didn't make, no, I never found one. I guess there's not many of the Camden model. All right, so anyway, that's what it looked like. So we know what the pendulum needs to be, and we know what the movement kind of should look like. So I'll see if I've got anything like that around, and if not, we'll order. All right, I misremembered. So I thought something didn't add up. I thought I remembered it differently. This is a whole different setup here. This came from some other auction. This is what happened. I bought that, and it came with this. If you look, it says New Haven Clock Company, Canard, right? So this came with it, but when I looked at this, I figured out it was the wrong stuff. So let's open this up and see what it is. Once and for all. Because that sure looks like our dial pan that we need. Okay, now what does it say? That's a replacement. Yep, that's someone has redone this whole thing. Yeah. So they have updated it. They updated our clock, folks. It's not good. Hope I don't get cut. Yep, that's the wrong pendulum. All right, so the Gilbert movement that we had, I don't know what in the world that went to. Yeah, see this, none of this makes any sense. Maybe the person was just a clock repair person. Let's see if I can get it out of the bag here. Okay, what is this? It's an Ingram. We're finding extra movements all over the place. That's a nice looking Ingram movement though. Okay, so I noticed something, I'm finding them online with two different movements in it. So I've noticed something different about the movements though. So this is the first movement that I saw that appears to be an older one because of these arched, in general, the ones that look a little more fancy are older, And this is probably 1890, 1900, 1905, something like that. And then the more square version is probably 1910 or something like that, So it appears some of them had this one and some of them had the other one. And so this is the picture of the ladies that was in hers. It's slightly different than the other one, and you can tell by the mounting holes. And the reason is because this one, the original version, the governor is right here. The fan is right here. It's in the middle. So I'll show you. None of this matters. I just think it's interesting. So see the fan? It's in the middle. Well, because of that, they've got the mounting boss, the little leg, farther over to the edge, and the other leg's over here. Down at the bottom, both of the legs just turn in. The mounting legs, we'll call it. Right? So when you look at the back, the mounting boss is way over on the edge because the regulator is in. Okay, so because of that, if you look at where these mount, these are going to be pretty standard, right? So they're a certain distance from this plate here, And if you follow that line up, this boss on the right side is going to be slightly to the right of where the right, remember all this is turned around, so it's going to be slightly to the right, the mounting hole of the bottom mounting hole, right? And on this right, and on the top, on the left side, you can see the distance from here to that line. If you follow that up, the left mounting hole is going to be slightly to the left of the bottom hole. So basically, the two bottom holes are kind of even, and then the right one is a little bit to the right of the bottom right hole, and the left one is a little bit to the left of the top left hole. So this distance is a little wider than this distance because of where the governor is. Now, if you look at the other one that we saw, this is the slightly newer version of the movement. The governor is over here. You can actually see the fan right there. So because of that, they have moved the mounting boss in. So looking around on eBay, that's not the one. Maybe this is the one. So this is the original version. See the roundedness and everything, and you see the posts inside. Let me find the one that all right. This is the second version. Now, we just looked at the first version's mounting bosses. This is the second version. So if you look on the bottom, there's actually like a little plate to mount the two holes, but the holes are basically in the same spot on both movements. But there is a plate with the holes in it. And then at the top, because the governor has been moved out here to the edge, they moved the mounting balls in. So if you look at the hole on the bottom as compared to the two little lines here, when you get up to the top, the left one is about perfectly in line with the bottom left hole, and the right one is slightly to the right of the bottom right hole because they've been moved in a little bit, right? So I hope that makes sense. The distance is a little different. So on the previous one, these two holes are wider apart than the bottom two, but on this one, they're about the same, or it looks like they're shifted slightly to the right of both of the bottom two holes. All of that to say, if we look at the holes on the back of the case, we ought to be able to figure out which one of these two movements was originally mounted in it. This is very important, you know. So looking at the case, this hole, this hole, this hole, and this hole line up with the Ingram movement that was in the bag that came with it. So apparently at some point this was mounted in there. If you look, because of the spring, I can't get it in there right now, but you can see that those two line up, and then it lines up with the top two. And then you can see that there are 4 more holes. Well, the bottom holes, if you look, there is a little line. That's probably that bar from the second type of movement, right? Wouldn't you say that makes sense? So there's the 2 holes that mount at the bottom of the movement. And then if you look at the top, the 2 holes are shifted slightly to the right of the bottom 2 holes. So it must have had the second type of movement in it and not that first type with the arches, which kind of makes sense to me because this case, well, I don't know. I guess they're all like that, but this case is in nice shape, so I was thinking, hey, it's a little newer, but we're talking about it's only 110 years old when the other one might be 115 years old. So it's not really that big of a deal, but I think it had the second type of movement in it. I think if I find one of those or order one of those, it'll mount right in here in the same original holes. So in that bag that I was just looking at, Ingram movement, it has 4 screws in it, which may be the original screws. I don't know. I guess they're a little too big. Those are the ones that must have held the Ingram movement in. It has these hands, which do not look like the hands that we saw on the other one. These are probably Ingram hands. It has a key that says Germany on it. Has nothing to do with it. It has 2 small, pretty screws, which I guess they were putting their pretty new face on with. And then it had this, which is the back of a cuckoo clock. So I don't know why that's in there, but whoever this was, they must have worked on them or something and like to tinker with them like I do. So I think we're looking for the second type of movement. Unfortunately, it looks like they may have added this gong too, or maybe they just moved it. Maybe it was right here and they moved it up. So we'll look at that too. See if this beehive looking gong would have been original. And the reason they would have done that is because maybe the hammer goes to a different place on an Ingram than on a New Haven. And that's the wrong pendulum bob. Now, technically, you could just put that in there. It was probably in there for years and worked fine. It doesn't really matter, but it's just kind of fun to try to make it back how it originally was, in my opinion. So that's what we're going to try to do. All right, so this picture is sideways, but if you look at the gong, it does appear to be the exact same one we've got. Maybe ours was moved up for whatever reason, maybe to accommodate that Ingram movement, but I think we've got the right gong installed. And then there is another picture here of it. You can see it's the same model. Now, ours does not appear to have ever had an alarm because there's no mounting holes for an alarm in the case that I can find. So we don't need the alarm function unless we just wanted to add one, but I'm trying to just make it back however it originally was. So we will leave that alone. I need to look around and see if I've got a pan that'll fit a New Haven movement after we find or buy the movement though. So we need the movement, we need hands, we need a pendulum, and we need a dial, which I have all of, but it's an Ingram and I'm trying to do it the hard way. Okay, so we got to decide if we need to order a movement or if I happen to have one. I would think the odds that I have that exact one that I kind of want to put in there are probably like 10%, but we'll try it. So I've got a couple boxes full of movements. If we can find one, I will attempt to fix it. So I figured maybe we'd go through them. You might find that enjoyable. Some of the stuff that I've got. If you didn't see, it's another Gilbert. If you didn't see the video that I did where I went and did a big pickup of clocks from a gentleman's estate, you might want to check that out. This is a Seth Thomas looking one, but I think it's a fakie. This is a repo from some time, and it's very rusted. So trying to pull them out without getting too screwed up. That's the back of it. So Sessions. And this is a front mount, so it's going to be for like a mantle clock. At least I think so. It's typical to get a whole bunch of movements like this that are in various states of disrepair. It's a Seth Thomas. We did one of these, didn't we? Is this the number 89? Is that what it was called? One of those that's running right now, I think, has this movement. That I didn't know I had that. That's a pretty cool movement there. You might need that for something. Looks like it's in decent shape. Still got the springs wound up. That won't work. Come on, give me a good one. Well, that's a cute one. It's the Sessions time only. That's cool. I've got a couple cases that I was considering putting something like this in. Sessions time only. I've got an interesting case that is like I think it's some company was making cases and they put different movements in it. So it's kind of hard for me to tell which movement is supposed to be in it. But these ones that are just time only are really cool to me. They're kind of like these school clocks, the regulators and stuff. That one there has a strike, but a lot of them didn't. So that's a cool little movement, but it won't work for this purpose. Another Gilbert. Is that what it says? No, it's a Crobert. Who knows what in the world that went to. If you remember, when I bought all these, I bought out a guy's estate, like I said, and there were a whole bunch of them that the guy had removed from clocks. Here is another time only. I didn't know I had those. Man, that's so cool. That's just a sweet movement. That's a New Haven, but it's time only. So you've only got one winding hole, and that's not what we're looking for. Looks like she's still trying. Good cleaning, and that one might be a good one. Beautiful. Most of these don't have much value. But, so what I was saying was, I bought out that guy's estate, so I've got a bunch of cases, too, without the movements in them. And so I assume some of these movements must go in some of the cases that I've got. This is the Sessions. Let's see how far off our two clocks are. Last night they were about 15 seconds off. Big money, no whammies. Crown fan. NHT, I don't know what that would be. Japan, no jewels, adjusted. Usually when you see them with this black work on it, they're newer. But you might find something that needs to go in one of these days. And our last one in this box is an Ansonia. That's a beautiful one. I always wonder about these ones with the long shafts. What does that go in? You would think that would be a bigger case just because of, you know, it would have to be thicker. So it's going to be a pretty thick case. Typically the face is kind of even with these, you know. So it's that thick before, and it's mounted on the back. So we need something that you could access the front of, but yet is that thick. So I don't know what that would be. Okay, well, let me put these all back in, and then I've got one more box. We'll look through it. Box number 2. Hopefully we get lucky. I have no clue what we have in here. Another Sessions. These things were in just horrible shape when I picked them up from the guy's house. If you didn't see that video, he had them strung all over his property. And the guy seemed to like to take clocks apart. It's an Ingram. It'll be another mantle clock where it mounts on the front and there's an access panel on the back. And this is an adjustment that you can access from the front with a key, so that you don't have to, because you can't, since it's a mantle clock, you can't adjust the pendulum. It doesn't have a setting on it. Usually, sometimes it does. Okay, so whenever they have this like kind of this look to the brass, that's a more modern thing. It's probably from the 60s or 70s. We're getting down to the dredges. This is a Hamilton 31 day, it says. But it says made in Japan. So that's for, you know, something a little more modern. Here's a cute little one, but this is almost like a cuckoo clock thing, with a little novelty clock where the bear's eyes move. Missing parts. This was just random stuff the guy had thrown all over the place. Gilbert again. Some alarm clocks that he had. Those are cool. Here's a little baby. I'm gonna guess Seth Thomas. Nope, PH and S. I figured that was one of those little Seth Thomas movements that they would put in little tiny cases. That's a cool movement though. Somebody might be looking for one of those. Waterbury, haven't seen one of them yet. That's cool. Nice Waterbury movement. Ingram. Lots of Ingrams. Very cool. Well, doesn't look like we got one, folks. So here we have, what is that? Ansonia. Little tiny one. That's cool though. Huge movement here that's going to be like a grandfather clock type thing or something, but it's going to be like a newer thing. A few alarm clocks in there. These are just in here because they came from that same deal. This was some kind of case. The guy would take stuff apart and just throw it all over the place. Look, what do my wondering eyes see? What do we have here? Isn't it always at the very end? God. What the hell have they done? New Haven. So that is the front plate of one, but it's destroyed. I mean, it's so screwed up. The bridge is off of it. It's just screwed up. There's not much saving that. But that would have been the correct movement, actually. What the hell have they done? Yeah, so he just had crap thrown all over the place. So we did find one piece of the correct movement. All right, I have a few other things. When I got these, he had boxes of just parts where the plates had been taken apart, like those that I just looked at. And where the wheels had all been taken out. There's just stuff laying everywhere. And I actually tried to piece a few of them back together. So I've got a couple of those too. Let me look at those and make sure none of those were the correct one. And if not, I'll order one. All right, so this is the plate that comes with it. Now, the problem with reusing this is if we've changed the movement, this isn't going to fit because the distance between here and the winding holes is different on several of them. So on all of those pictures that I looked at, this little ring here was kind of centered with this ring. And by the way, all of those had Roman numerals. The other type of dial that was popular, or face that was popular, was Arabic numerals, they called it, which is more freehand looking. But none of those showed that in any of those pictures, and all of the ones that I found, none of them had the Arabic dial. So we were looking for a Roman numeral dial. Now, I've got paper dials, but I need this plate. And on all of the ones that I saw, every one of them, and all of the drawings, and then also the ones that were, I was just thinking that plate, I should have left that out because we could use it to tell how wide the thing is. But on all of them that I saw, this hole was centered in this middle ring here. So this was up about, half an inch, something like that. Of course, the other one too. So I need to find one, if I can find one, that has the ring, this little trim ring, farther in so that it'll fit the actual movement. So I may have one that's already like that, so I'm going to look through what I got. But if I don't, I'll order that too. And I looked at my pendulums. I do not have a pendulum. So we need a movement, a pendulum, and a dial. That's pretty wild. So let's see what all we've got here. I think I did a video before where we looked through these. And by the way, you can make these, you know, you can buy a generic one and stamp your own. That's probably more like it, but this one somebody has made, it's not even centered. But it is closer together than that. Let's see if we can find anything that looks like it might be correct. And if it's close, we'll run with it. I don't really care if they're shiny chrome like it, brass like that. As a matter of fact, I would just assume them not be. That's the correct size. But they're too far apart again. Also, this thing that we were talking about with the alarm, there's a little wheel that goes in here that makes the alarm work, so you can set the alarm. And like I said, on that cabinet, there doesn't look like there was ever an alarm. Here's just a Gilbert, I assume, paper that nobody ever cut. Ingram, notice the holes are way down the numerals. I don't know. I guess I got these all from that guy. Sessions. These are useless. You know, you can't really use these in this kind of condition. Waterbury. We may find one that says New Haven that actually proves our point about them being closer together. Waterbury. Ingram. Well, here we go. We got a blank. So I won't have to order one if I can figure out how to drill one. Got a couple blanks. So we'll make that our new dial pan if we need to. Was pretty rough looking. And again, it's down the number, so I don't think that would work. And it has the alarm. On some of these, the way they're made, you can cover up the alarm area. That one actually is smaller too. I don't think that one would fit. Excuse me. Seth Thomas, maybe? Is that the Seth Thomas logo? Look, these are way down the numbers there. That's probably just completely the wrong plate. That's probably for a mantle clock. Seth Thomas, something or another. Sessions, most of this is probably useless, but I'm saving them because I think it would be cool if I find the actual case in all those cases that I got that any of this fits back in, you know. That's just my thinking. It's like a big puzzle, people. It's like a big puzzle. Who knows what that was in? And you can see that it had the Arabic dial at one point. But there's no, oh yeah, it's upside down. Yeah, so there would have been a door that swung over. This is some kind of mantle clock as well. Well, look at this beautiful little thing here. Ramcraft. And no winding holes, so this would have been a later, like an electric clock or something. Here's a special somebody made. Made in USA. Kind of. Oh, what do my wondering eyes see here? Would you look at that? It's the correct size. It is Roman numerals. Now, I haven't read it yet. It's Roman numerals. And look where the holes are. They're way up in that middle ring. That's going to be for a New Haven clock. Bigger than hell. What do you think? Made by New Haven Clock Company, New Haven, Connecticut, USA. Well, I think that's our dial. This middle piece, like I said, you can actually cover over. You just, whenever you cut the paper for the dial, you just cut a piece for the inside and then cut a smaller hole in it. Yeah, that's all original. What do you think, folks? I think that'll work. We'll try to polish it up a little bit, clean it up, and maybe put a new, well, definitely put a new face on it. I may even have one that says New Haven Clock Company. So there we go. We got one. So I'm saving a little bit of money. The way I'm thinking about it is the other one, well, the other one's right here. So I can use that in another clock. And then, you know, but the only thing is I may have a New Haven clock case here somewhere that this goes on that I won't have it for now, but that's all right. If we find it, we'll know what happened. That's a pretty one. Somebody's put a new paper on it. And then some smaller ones. I've got a few other ones too, but they were obviously too small, so I didn't bring them in here. Look at this one. It's like an old porcelain one. Ooh, look at that. Damn. Look at that. So do you see the significance here? It's got one winding hole, so it's a time only, and it's just below the shaft. That may go to one of those movements that we found. And you know, it's obviously damaged, but to me, it's not that badly damaged. So I don't know. If I find the case and it obviously is what it goes in, then we'll figure it out. You kind of got to go through them one at a time, which is what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to find exactly what that one was supposed to look like and put it back how it was. I know it's very unimportant, but to me, it's just fun. I enjoy that. And I've been looking at this one for quite a while. Sessions Clock Company. That's a cool old pan there. And then this one is too big. And it's also a Sessions. All right, well, I actually found the dial pan that we needed. That's pretty cool. I like that. And it's the correct size. That'll work. We'll figure out the alarm thing. All right, folks, so I think that'll do. Let me, while I have it out, oh, here go the clocks. They're going to chime all over the house. I'll try to talk through it. While I have these out, maybe I can look real quick and see if I have a New Haven paper. This is a fast clicker here. That thing don't govern at all. All gas, no brakes, people. The other one's still going in the hallway. Let me see if I've got a paper dial that I can have out for that one that looks similar to that and what the pictures online look like. Let me just see if I've got one. It'd be really cool if I had one with the New Haven logo or something. Okay, so back to our examples of the clock. This is the exact same dial I've got in my hand here. It's exactly the same, and that's on the Cunard one. Or I should say the paper is the same. I don't know about the actual plate, the actual pan may be slightly different. This is the other one. Same thing. It's the exact same paper. And on this one, the pan is exactly the same. This is the exact same pan I've got, only mine has had the area cut out for the alarm in the middle. But it has this, there's actually an indentation here where this is lower than this. On this other one, I don't think there is. I think this is the same height. But same numerals, same paper. Okay, this is a third one. I think somebody may have replaced this one or something because these don't line up like we've been talking about. They're a little bit off. But it's the same design. I suppose it might be slightly different, like these little... The feet of the numerals are slightly different. But it still says New Haven. And this, by the way, was the one that had the different movement that's different than our movement. Here's the catalog, the Camden line. They all appear to be the exact same one, like I was saying, with the Roman numerals. They have the gold ring, and they have the hands where we're talking about. And then finally, here's another one that I just happened to find with the same dial. So I think this dial is exactly the same. We need to see if we've got a new paper that has that design. So I've got this huge selection of papers that I've picked up over the years. They're always real cheap, or you find them somewhere with a bunch of other stuff. That's the one right there, but it doesn't say New Haven on it. But that's the actual same design. It's got an interesting little thing with the feet. Like if you look at the 11 there, see how the feet are underneath? And if you look at the 10, see how the feet are? It's the same design. So that's that. Let's see what else we got here. Ooh, pretty. So we're looking for, it's got to be bigger than that, but we're looking for the little feet thing I was saying. And it would be great if it actually said New Haven. So here's a Gilbert. That's the Arabic. That's the calendar. Okay, I think, is that one too big? Yeah, this is smaller. Oh, we're going to play that game too. We'll have to measure it out. Oh, and here's the, here's one that's on the yellowed paper. Would probably look better. Let's see. I think that might work. Seth Thomas. Seth Thomas. Seth Thomas. Lots of Seth Thomas. You know, the Seth Thomas clocks were very popular. Waterbury. 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 Waterbury, Waterbury, Waterbury. I do love a Waterbury clock. Dirty little secret though, I like all of them. Ansonia. I don't know if it's pronounced Ansonia or Ansonia. Or Ansania, maybe. I guess it's pronounced however you want. See how I've got them all in order. I'll bet I've got a New Haven section in here. We'll know soon. That's kind of a weird one. New Haven. Yeah, baby. All right, so it has an extra logo here that ours doesn't have. But we'll keep it out just in case we don't get any better. Is that different sizes? No, same size. There's a New Haven with the Arabic. There's a white New Haven, same as that. But I got to tell you, if I've got either one, I think I'd rather do that one. I think they look better. It's got less of a, hey, we just printed this out look. Although we did just print this out. New Haven, New Haven, New Haven, New Haven. Yeah, they've all got that, which isn't on ours. All right, that's probably all of them. Okay, on to Ingram. Gilbert. Sessions. And a generic. All right, folks, so that's all we've got. All right, so I will order a movement, and I'll order a pendulum. We've got the pan. We've got several of the papers that are close enough, in my opinion. So, yeah, I think we're good. And we'll, whenever we get the movement in, we'll disassemble it, clean it, put it back together, repair whatever it needs, and hopefully it'll be easy peasy. It'll be as simple as that. So there you go, folks. I hope you found some enjoyment in it. I know it's kind of long and drawn out, but that's how it is. If you're fixing a clock, it takes a while. I think sometimes people don't like the long videos because they're like, oh, it's just well, look, it takes a while to do it. You know, if you're into this, this is what happens. It takes a while, and then you've got something to be proud of. Remember when we fixed that one? Boy, that was fun. That was a cool little clock. Remember when we fixed this Russian one? That was a cool little clock too. Remember this little beehive clock here? That was like a present for someone whenever they retired. That was a cool one. Remember this Jefferson mystery clock here that we fixed? Well, yeah, we fixed it. It had a little bit of issues. That was fun. And then we've got all these ones tick-tocking over here in the background. Remember when we did this big, huge one here? Probably going to do another video on that pretty soon. There's a little plastic piece in there that's messed up. We got to mess with. So, you know, you spend a little time. If you get them right and you take the time to repair them, then you can keep them. And it's, you know, like this one works great. This one works great. This one works great. You know, you do it once and done. That's how I see it. So we're going to spend a little time on it, get it right. And then maybe we'll take that Ingram, was it Ingram? I think it's the Ingram movement, and find a Ingram case that we can put it in. So we'll keep moving along. Oh, and by the way, if you watched our videos last time where we did the radio, I have now moved up to here. So that's that one we did last time that needs the gold paint. So we've done this one, this one, this one, and this one. This one, this one, and I think that's it. So we've done those 6. So we've got a few more to go. We've done this one, obviously. We did this one. So we're getting there. I'd like to fill this whole room up with stuff that's already been repaired. And then what we'll do after we get all that done, what we'll do is as we fix one, we'll bring it in and set it up and then sell one or something. Maybe our least favorite. So, but we're getting there. I think I've got about everything that I fixed still here in the room. There's a couple in the other room. I've got that big Majestic floor model in the other room because it's just so beautiful. I want to show it off, you know. But pretty much we've got most of the stuff that we've repaired here in the room. So I'll see you on the next video. And until then, remember, this is amateur repair time. We're fixing to fix stuff as easy as can be. Amateur repair time for you and me. Hit the music.
Ladies and gentlemen, dust-covered circuits sitting on a desk, been lost in time, 50 years of rest, reading schematics and thrifting old parts. One more last week. Old board, new sparks, tracing faded traces, vacuum tube blows, get it back to working by the end of the show. Bringing broken gadgets back to life, turning silence into stories, one at a time. We fixing to fix them, easy as can be. Amateur repair time for you and me. Little machine, you carried history, time to trace your path, bring your mystery. From open to singing, learn, preserve, repeat. Cables, needles, switches, tangled up lines, patient Google searches, pass me the lines. Tiny clock that's ticking, take care, please start. Brand new capacitors, rummaging old parts, tracing faded traces, vacuum tube blows, get it back to working by the end of the show. Bringing broken gadgets back to life, turning silence into stories, one at a time. We fixing to fix them, easy as can be. Amateur repair time for you and me. It's amateur repair time. It's amateur repair time. It's amateur repair time.